kicked that can, and the one who kicked it the farthest won.
And that's
For
totally
his
different than
team.
what we played. We played kick the can, but it was more like hide and go seek. sort
It
of
was
game.
hide and go seek with it.
Yeah, and then whoever.
You
know, the people
incorporated
hiding
ice.
tried to kick the can before the guy who was it caught you. So we'd go
Right.
hide and then we try to,
Ours is different.
yeah.
We would draw, we've had lines, and maybe 8 or 9 guys would be on this side, and we'd choose upside, and there'd be 8 or 9 guys over there. Now, that guy would have to run off, and he couldn't stop and take a good aim. He had to run and kick it at the same time when he was running. Then they would mark the distance, and the one who kicked it the farthest, that team would win from that team. That was kick the can. Now, we can go out and play kick the can.
You want to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'd have to kick that can. Now, I know we can find plenty of cans around here.
Yeah.
Then we used to play horseshoe with cans in those days too. The cans all were regular cans with the sides were solid, and you opened it with however, were cans where they'd just perforated milk cans and stuff. Well, then we would stamp on them with our heels of our shoes, and it was nothing for a guy to be walking around with cans on the heel of his shoe. Because when you step on it, you stomp on it real hard. The center, the sides come in, and they hook your shoe.
Yeah, I
So
remember
they-
doing that as a kid.
Huh?
I remember doing that as a kid
Yeah.
too.
We would do that quite often. Or stilts. We did use stilts a lot. We built our own stilts, and then we got so efficient at it. I would build my stilts and have a leather strap, an old belt, and I'd strap them up here at my thighs, and be walking on the block here, and I would be maybe this high off the ground, 3 foot off the ground. Then we would play a game. We would try to pull each other off of off the stilt set, so the guy would fall to the ground. See, that's a hell of a thing, falling into the ground. But you got so efficient with stilts, it was hard to get a guy to fall to the ground. We were so efficient. And you see, we didn't have to hold on to the stilts where they end because we had them strapped to our thighs, see, with belts. And I could run even with stilts in those days. I could run.
Wow.
And here I am running with about this high off the ground with my stilts. And oh gosh, did we used to play with stilts. That was our see, all those games that you could do without buying anything expensive or buying anything, because we didn't have the money to spend. So we would play those games we could afford to do without spending money.
Yeah.
We'd make our own stilts.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll tell you, stilts. My God, was I good in walking with stilts. Maybe that's why I have trouble with my legs today. You think?
Maybe if you got on some stilts,
Then I would be okay,
Yeah.
see. I wouldn't have any problems.
they're not used to being so low to the
Yeah,
ground.
I know it. I should be on stilts. Wesley came up with the right idea. Because, see, we used to play stilts, on stilts a lot when I was a kid.
Wow.
And we'd strap them to our thighs.
Yeah.
And we would, and of course you'd stand on your blocks, and we'd maybe be 2 foot or even a little bit higher, 3 foot off the ground. And then we'd try to pull each other over and see if we could pull each other down. And you know, you were so efficient on walking on stilts, it was really hard to get somebody down. You'd even try to take your one stilt and kick it under his and knock out one of his stilts from under his legs and knock him over that way. But falling at that distance, gosh, it didn't bother us kids at all.
Did you usually win,
Huh?
Grandpa?
I never had anybody ever knock me off of my stilts. I was really pretty good at it because I was playing all the time. Gosh, I could run with stilts even.
Yeah.
I could run.
Well,
See that ball, she moved that ball. You're fast.
what other games would you guys play?
Well, we'd play dare base. That's similar to kicking the can. In dare base, you didn't have a can. And we would take turns running out. And I forget really how we would work dare base. The one guy would come out so far, and the other team would send a guy out and try to touch him. And you dare the other person. That's why they call it dare base, because you would dare. You'd point at a guy and say, "I dare you to come out." And then he comes out, and you run out, and if you touch him, he's out of the game. That was dare base. Then we play hunting parties. That was kind of fun too, but in a way, not so much fun. When we played hunting parties, we'd always start in the evening, and you'd have a group, let's say 5 guys here and 5 guys, and the 5 guys would go out and hide somewhere around town, and I mean around the whole town. Then the other 5 would have to try to go out and find them, and that was what we called hunting parties. And you'd try to find where those other 5 guys were hiding, and of course then when you found them, then they in turn had to do the same. You got to go out and hide, see.
How long would it
So
take
that,
to find it?
sometimes, I'll tell you, that's why I don't know why we enjoyed that game. Sometimes you'd be an hour looking for the other party. And you were just wandering all around town looking for this other party.
Yeah.
And you couldn't find them really. They were really, and it's dark, see, and you're trying to find them in the dark.
So what happens
And-
if you can't find someone? How do you?
Well, and that's usually the way it ended up. We couldn't find the other party, so then we quit and go home and leave them out there hid. So that was hunting parties. Now you know what hunting parties is like. See, I'm telling you all these things that we used to do in the Depression, because everything you did it because you couldn't afford to buy anything. You had no money to spend to buy something to play any games.
Yeah.
We finally did buy a game of Monopoly. We saved our money and we bought a game of Monopoly. And probably in those days, the game cost us maybe 75 cents, if that.
It's almost 80.
Now it costs $75.
Huh?
I said now it probably costs $75.
Yeah, it cost 75, but we paid 75 cents. And here, let me see. Where's Shane? I don't know where he gets out of playing that chasing the ball.
Here he comes with it.
Okay, Shane.